New Orleans. For 3 centuries, it's been famous for its traditions and culture. But for the people who have lived here, it's a city of striking contrasts.
Join WDSU as we examine New Orleans' relationship between religion and revelry and how that story shaped this iconic city.
WDSU's tricentennial celebration, Making 300, Religion and Revelry, July 26th at 8. Sponsored by the historic New Orleans Collection.
Higgins started building boats in New Orleans in 1931. Throughout the war, Higgins built 20,094 boats. Everyone in New Orleans either worked at Higgins, a relative worked at Higgins, or they knew someone that worked at Higgins. What was done here affected the entire world. The Higgins boats changed the strategy of modern warfare. He gave them the ability for the first time to be able to move men and material from ships at sea to open beaches. No longer did the enemy know where you were going to attack. New Orleanians should be incredibly proud of what this city did during World War II. Because of Mr. Higgins, we saved probably hundreds and hundreds of thousands of lives by giving them the proper equipment to safely land on that beach.
This moment in New Orleans history is part of WDSU's Making 300, celebrating 300 years of our city's rich and unique culture. Sponsored by Xavier University of Louisiana, helping students leave ready since 1925. On its banks, a world-famous city was born. For some, the river created great wealth. For others, only misery.
Join WDSU as we examine the timeless link between the Mississippi River and the city of New Orleans, and how after 300 years, the river remains vital to our lives.
WDSU's tricentennial celebration, Making 300, The River, Ebb and Flow, October 11th at 6:30. Sponsored by Xavier University of Louisiana, helping students leave ready since 1925.
The U.S. Mint has a lot of New Orleans history. Construction began in 1835. The state of Louisiana took it over at the beginning of the Civil War, and then the Confederates took it over from the state of Louisiana. One of New Orleans' defining moments happened right here at the Mint when Union Admiral Farragut brought his fleet up the river, moored right out in the river across from the Mint, and sent sailors over to take the Confederate flag down and raise the U.S. flag. That was the beginning of the end of the Confederacy's grip on New Orleans and giving control of the city back to the U.S. government. A lot of New Orleans history happened here, from one of the first forts that surrounded the city, to Confederate complications, to being one of the main producers in the country for U.S. coinage. Now it's a wonderful place to come see festivals and see the New Orleans Jazz Museum.
This moment in New Orleans history is part of WDSU's Making 300, celebrating 300 years of our city's rich and unique culture. Sponsored by Xavier University of Louisiana, helping students leave ready since 1925.